Hello, I am Futurist Amelia Kallman. Welcome to Blockchain in the Metaverse. Today, I am joined by the president of MetaJuice, John Burris. First of all, congratulations. I know Together Labs has been named one of Time 100's most influential companies of 2022, which must feel amazing. What sets Together Labs apart from other companies, and what is it about it that's making people take notice now?
Right. Great. No, a great question. And it gives me a great opportunity then to talk about the team at Together Labs and what they've built and are building. The first thing I think that sets Together Labs apart and its focus on kind of the social metaverse and the power of friendship is that it's a pioneer in the space. The company has been around over 18 years and was really one of the first 3D avatar platforms that focused on social interactions. And so over those years, it has really kind of cracked the code, if you will, on social friendship, on metaverse-centric friendship, if you will, or virtual kind of interactions of friendship. That is a huge kind of chunk of knowledge to have. That sets it apart. What also sets apart the Together Labs ecosystem is the economy that's a part of it, where it's all the users, the broader community that uses our metaverse that are the driving force behind it. They create all the virtual goods, all of the rooms, all of the experiences. And so that's another key aspect of the Together Labs business model. And then finally, I think while it's got a very nice business, it's been willing to take chances and bet on the future, really. And so that gets us into the blockchain crypto part of this strategy. And so being aggressive over the last 4 years, launching Vcoin, a digital currency, now NFTs, and soon VCORE. Those three aspects, both being very early in this avatar space, a big, strong economy, and now the crypto space really set us apart. And really what led to Time magazine picking us as one of only 4 Web3 or blockchain companies that are in the 100 list. So we're super proud of that and what the team's done.
Yeah, so Together Labs has a bunch of different facets to the company. And one that I don't know that much about, but am keen to learn more on is VCORE. So what is VCORE and how does it fit into the overall picture of the company?
Great question. VCORE is really at the center of our crypto strategy. It is what we sometimes call a meta token. It'll initially be an ERC20 token on the Ethereum blockchain. I share that just to say it'll be a token that can be, exchanged or traded across any Ethereum-based platform. But the real power behind VCORE is it allows users or the community of the metaverse to participate in the future of the metaverse. And what I mean by that is a couple things. One, users that hold VCORE will be able to be involved in the economy of the metaverse. First off, VCORE will be used to mint NFTs on our platform. It'll be used to purchase NFTs, right, in the primary market or secondary markets. Our creators and earners on our platform, many of them will be paid out in VCORE around the world. They'll have full control over those earnings. So VCORE is a key part of the economy. It's also a key part of the future of governance in the metaverse. This is a new aspect for the metaverses at Together Labs, where the holders of VCORE will be able to vote on aspects of the future of the metaverse or on aspects of the economy of the metaverse. So putting more and more control over time in the future of the metaverse in the hands of the community, right? And honestly, those that are building out the future. And then finally, VCORE, because it will be an exchange listed token, its price will fluctuate, its value will fluctuate. We hope, of course, it's a really healthy ecosystem that appreciates over time in a kind of a very kind of conservative way. But it is an asset that could appreciate over time. So it gives users that hold that token an opportunity to participate in the growth of the metaverse, right? Or even a little bit of the upside of the metaverse. So super exciting. And for our users, even though I can rattle through all the different ways VCORE could bring value to the community, we want to make it easy for our users, right? So they can engage with VCORE the way they want. Maybe it's just used to purchase NFTs. Maybe they care a lot about voting on the future of the platform. Or maybe they just want to hold a piece of the metaverse. And so it'll be really awesome to get that into our ecosystem and have it do its thing, if you will.
So I'm interested. Now it feels like governments are starting to potentially get involved in crypto. What does that actually mean for coinage and people, just everyday people? I know, yeah, I don't know. So what do you know?
No, for sure. It's another key aspect, not only of the crypto space, but of the metaverse space. And in fact, I'll start there. I think something that a lot of early players in the blockchain crypto space will learn, if they're not already, is that governments, regulators, they want safe environments for the users. So whether it's teens or youth that might be on your platform, or it's disclosing how your ecosystem works, following regulations on a global level. That's the first thing that's happening, I think, in this space. Right, that InView, frankly, has been a part of, or our parent company, Together Labs, has been a part of for years, right? Adhering to GDPR and other, key regulations. But now, and really to your question, the crypto space and blockchain asset space opens up a whole nother category of regulation. And we've taken the approach that you want to be compliant. You want to follow the rules when they're clear, in every market in which you're in. And so we've taken that approach. We actually worked with the SEC in the United States to earn a no action letter to ensure that our VCoin crypto asset, the digital currency, is highly compliant. We're doing the same with NFTs as we work with our top tier legal counsel to make sure that we do NFTs the right way. And then, of course, with VCORE, we're following kind of global regulations, and they are unique by country to make sure we do this the right way. I think what will happen in the crypto space that's interesting is that a lot of activity has already happened. It'll be interesting as rules come down, as rules are stated in a more clear way by governments, regulators, how that changes the ecosystem, because I think a lot of things have run a little rampant at times, and so it'll be an important phase for this ecosystem to go through as it gets more regulated, if that makes sense.
So one of the things I understand about blockchain is that it has a transparent ledger. So I think that's been billed as a real plus when it comes to blockchain. But do you see any negative sides of that or any risk?
Yeah, first I'll just echo your last point there, that I think there's a real positive aspect to that, right? That everybody can see the activity happening on a blockchain in an ecosystem, maybe even at an individual level. But your point is a really good one, important one that I think sometimes the blockchain space dismisses or doesn't think enough about, which is that there might be a lot of activities, things you purchased. Do you want all your purchase history in the virtual metaverse, even in real life? Do you want that all to be public? Even if you have nothing to hide, is that anybody's business? Really, what you bought at the grocery store, or what you bought for clothes last week, or where you just invested in a piece of land in the virtual metaverse. So there are aspects of privacy around activity that I think is important to still preserve. Identity is something that we all need to preserve and protect. A lot of the users in our metaverse at InView like to be anonymous on the platform. We might know who they are. We might have gone through some KYC or know your customer type activities to make sure that those that are earning on our platform, we know who they are, right? And we follow kind of global regulations around that. But our users themselves in the metaverse might want to be in a more anonymous type state. And that's really their right. So like a lot of, kind of great new things, there's a flip side to both transparency, but also allowing users to keep content or activities or information private when they deem that to be the case. So very important to build these platforms, and in our case, the metaverse, in a way that protects users and some of their privacy. Are going to be a key part of the metaverse, and even early on, because they're kind of good indicators that there's activity happening in the metaverse that everybody should take a look at. They're good kind of calling cards, if you will, for this new metaverse. And I think they'll also legitimize platforms, because not every platform will top brands show up at. So I think having brands as a part of your metaverse is really important. The first thing, though, I think that we talk with partners about, and even potential brands, is they will need to rethink about the way they present their brand to end users or the community. Of course, they'll want to adhere to their brand principles, right? To their core brand stuff, but the way it manifests in the metaverse can be different, right? We're not locked into the way representation happens in the real world. It doesn't have to happen that way in the metaverse. You're going to want to have the ability for a brand to be activated in new ways, right? Users may want to, engage in your brand in an experience where they're not just trying on your clothing item, but that the access that they have with that item gives them access to new environments in the metaverse, right? Or allows them to congregate with other like-minded people that love your brand. And so I think the first thing is for brands to think about is this isn't just like the real world. So don't necessarily just go to the metaverse and create your corporate headquarters, right? Or create just a retail setting, because there's so much more that's possible.
Yeah, I think that's one thing that's really interesting is that I think we're all going to become creators in this space. And so the relationship between brands and consumers is ultimately going to change, because they're going to need influencers. They're going to need people who attract other people to these spaces. And I wanted to touch a bit more about the open metaverse and the idea of interoperability. So I want to understand why interoperability is valuable and what is at stake there. So what are the benefits we could get from it? What if it doesn't go in that direction, what are we going to miss out on?
No, I think interoperability is really important for the metaverse, and I would say other gaming platforms, other online platforms, but really the metaverse, because without interoperability, a lot of what we've been talking about in this blockchain crypto space, those things don't come true. And so I'll give you an example. One, a key word we use a lot on our platform now is ownership. Having true ownership over the digital items that you've purchased, over the clothing items you've purchased for your avatar, over your room or the spaces you own, the furniture that you've purchased for here. You don't have, in my opinion, true ownership unless that ownership can be taken off platform, right? To where you could take it to another metaverse. Or if you've got an avatar that you love, the look and feel and how they dress up, if you can't walk that avatar out of one of our metaverses into another metaverse, even one that we don't run, I'm not sure you have true ownership, right? Not in the way I think users in the community ultimately want. So we'll be missing out on true ownership and a broader world, metaverse, if we don't have interoperability. The other thing I think too that we talk about is identity will be important, or even the social kind of currency of your avatar. I'll give you an example of this. If that's not open and interoperable, you'll lose that on something too. So as an example, if I'm a really good user, like a polite user, I have a lot of social currency on one platform and I'm well known, or I'm known to be a good friend and partner or an honest vendor in a metaverse, it would be most valuable if when I went to another platform or another virtual world, that social currency, if you will, went with me, right? So that when I came into that new virtual world, folks could find me, they knew me, they could see maybe my social score, if you will, or they would know that I'm an honest, creator. Meaning, if you buy a service from me on the platform, I deliver it in a high quality way. So without going into too much detail there too, having your identity and almost your social currency travel with you, we think that's really important. Let alone, I mentioned kind of taking your assets, or here in Paris this week, take your NFTs with you to other platforms. I think having your, I'll call it your core account or your wallet transfer with you as well is super valuable, right? So that the currency you have, the V-coin you've earned, or the VCORE you've purchased, or the NFTs, that, you don't need to recreate that in every metaverse in which you're a part of, or you don't need to transfer your NFTs around in order to activate them in another virtual world. So again, having interoperability at a certain level, we think is important, part of the future.
I wanted to ask you a bit about demographics. So I'm seeing some buzz around kids entering the metaverse, and it's quite controversial. And so how does that change things when it comes to safety and privacy? What impact does that have on platforms?
First of the demographics, in the Together Labs, kind of family of companies, our largest metaverse today is IMVU. So kind of IMVU, right? They're really the early pioneer in this space, that has, millions of monthly average users and over 1 million daily active users. The demographics there are really interesting. They do skew older, 18 plus really are, just about 80% of our user base, and certainly a large percentage of our spenders and those that spend a lot of time on the platform. I think they've kind of self-selected their way. It's a very social platform. It's about friendship and interaction. It's less about playing a video game. So I think it skews a little bit older in that way. And so that demographic is really who we market to and is a key part of our platform. I think too, as we think about the future crypto-centric metaverse, I'll kind of break that into two categories. On that 18 plus side, those are more likely the users that can really engage with all of our crypto assets. They're old enough to KYC or go through that know your customer activities to have a crypto account at an exchange or to own assets, to pay taxes on earnings, to be able to engage in a way that we in most countries around the world feel is safe. And so that's a real focus for us around the crypto metaverse, is really 18 plus around the world. That said, the metaverse, both at InView and certainly our new platform called With Me, there will be teens and those that are younger than 18 on our platform. We adhere to all kind of international regulations and rules around ensuring we keep those teens safe. I would say a few things are happening then in that case. One, we do a lot to try our best to separate 18 plus year olds from those that are teens. We think it's important. We think adults don't want to be chatting with teens, and teens primarily want to spend time with other teens. So if they are on our platform, we try our best to separate them. We try our best to allow our community is really the best kind of regulators, if you will, of on-platform activity, and making sure that there's always safe, healthy activity on the platform. So we've got a large team that works tirelessly to keep our platform safe. And I think we've done a great job doing that. It will, though, and it'll be a key consideration for a lot of these early crypto metaverses who are very decentralized at times, that have grown very quickly early on. And I don't think have had to tackle that problem yet or make sure that they're keeping everybody safe. I think they've been so busy, kind of just starting their metaverses off, just kicking them off, if you will, that they haven't kind of stepped back yet and really taken a full look or have gotten a full understanding of all the things they'll need to do to keep users safe.
Seems like there are opportunities to have really major, big communities that are international inside these spaces. How can these communities then make an impact in the real world?
That's a great kind of question, and one that doesn't always come up. I don't think when we talk about the future and growth and all these things, the communities that are created in the metaverse, and I think the history at Together Labs proves this out, and really inside our InView platform today, can have effects in the real world. And I'll give you a few examples. One is, first off, when we talk about community, a community or a group can be a small group, right? 2, 3, 5, 10 friends who care about a topic or a social outcome can be a small community. Those communities can also grow and become kind of massive in the metaverse and collect themselves in the metaverse. And the metaverse is a place that people can express themselves, how they truly want to be seen, or how they want to associate with others, the communities they want to be a part of. And even sometimes when in their own real life communities, it may not be safe, or they may not feel comfortable sharing who they are or making a stand around something. So I'll just say we have a very kind of progressive user base that's very active around social issues, around rights level, around gender type issues, and so we celebrate all that interests and those communities throughout the year. First off, they'll also then take kind of active approaches to things where, as an example, funds can be raised in the metaverse. So whether it's around a social issue or some disaster that's happened around the world, or even more recently with the war in Ukraine, users on our platform will congregate, collect donations even, and then we'll help facilitate those funds finding their way into the real world, if you will. I think as we go forward, and this gets back to some great questions about interoperability, these users can start to organize even across the various virtual worlds or various metaverses. And so to have a voice, maybe of millions and millions of users from around the world, express themselves in the metaverse and then make change in the real world, that's a pretty exciting idea to think about. So it'd be awesome to see more and more of that come to fruition.
So my final question is around, where do you see the industry going next? And where do you see yourself and Together Labs and MetaJuice going next?
Yeah, we see the industry continuing to evolve at a very fast rate. And I'll put it into two tracks. One is that those that are truly committed to this crypto metaverse play, and of course there's early crypto players, and then there's traditional large platforms like ours that are getting into this space and are very committed to the future. We're going to go at one pace, which I think is going to be a pretty fast, aggressive pace, right? Ushering in this new metaverse, this open, community-driven metaverse. On the other track, we'll see the traditional players. So some of the big multi-billion-dollar gaming companies or platform companies, we'll see them start to invest. Some of them will go slow and be very cautious. I think they'll start with NFTs, maybe work their way into some other crypto assets, maybe get open in some ways, and then others may be more aggressive. We'll see. So I think the future holds certain players are going to move very aggressive towards the future, and others, for a various set of reasons, whether it's how their business works today, maybe it's their fear for regulation in some categories, or maybe it's just a mindset. We'll see how fast they go. But definitely, we're all kind of, I like to think, heading towards the future. And it's something to watch. I think the key beneficiary of this big move will be the broader community, right? The metaverse itself. We're at Together Labs and our InView platform, we're used to sharing the future or the upside of the metaverse with our users and our creators. That'll be a change for a lot of people in the space. And I think it'll usher in a lot of good change for users and creators, and honestly, create an opportunity for new economies to be built too, which we think is awesome for the space. It'll really help accelerate the growth of our platform if everybody gets a share, right, or has some upside in the platform.
Thank you so much, John. This has been a pleasure. And thank you so much for tuning in and watching. I've been Amelia Kallman, and this is John Burris, and thank you very much.